Welcome back to episode 14 of our Gold Mining from Scratch series on the Yukon Valley 16X map. In today's episode, we're back at the hillside cut, and we're attempting what could be one of the biggest upgrades we've made to our mining operations so far. Over the past several episodes, we've transformed this area from a simple excavation site into a rapidly growing gold mining operation. After opening up the hillside cut with our Cat D7 dozer, we invested heavily into the mine and brought in our massive $1 million Macon Industries D600 Slucifer wash plant. Along with the wash plant, we also added a radial stacker conveyor and hopper feeder system, which completely changed the way we process pay dirt and produce gold. Since bringing Slucifer online, we've already managed to mine and process huge amounts of material from the hillside cut, and the upgrades just keep coming. Every change we've made has been focused on one goal: increasing the amount of paid dirt we can move through the wash plant every single day. Last episode was a huge step forward for the mine as we introduced our first fully automated hauling system. Using AutoDrive, we created routes that allowed our Volvo A60H rock trucks to drive themselves from the excavator to the hopper feeder system and back again. We also built a loading ramp that allowed the trucks to back directly up to the feeder and dump pay dirt straight into it. That upgrade completely eliminated the need to stockpile pay dirt beside the feeder and then reload it bucket by bucket with our Volvo L260 wheel loader. Removing that extra step saved a tremendous amount of time and allowed us to dramatically increase the amount of material flowing through the wash plant. The results were immediate. We were able to feed Slucifer much more consistently. Our excavator spent more time digging pay dirt and less time waiting on equipment, and overall the entire operation became far more productive. But after reading through the comments on last episode, many of you pointed out that there may be an even better solution. A lot of you suggested building a drive-over ramp that would allow our rock trucks to drive completely over top of the hopper feeder system. Instead of backing up a ramp and reversing into position, the trucks would simply drive up one side, unload directly into the feeder, and continue down the opposite side before looping back into the cut. Not only would it eliminate the reversing process entirely, but it should also make our AutoDrive workers much more efficient. With multiple trucks running around the mine, reducing the amount of time spent maneuvering and backing up could have a huge impact on overall production. To kick things off, we'll be heading over to the hillside cut and beginning construction on our new drive-over ramp system. I've actually spent quite a bit of time testing different ideas off camera, and I'll be honest, most of them didn't work very well. The biggest challenge has been finding a way to get enough clearance over the hopper feeder while still creating a smooth path that our rock trucks can reliably drive across. After quite a bit of experimenting, though, I think I've finally found a solution. I recently came across a pack of modded bridges, and one of them looks like it might be absolutely perfect for this project. The first thing we'll need to do is remove the concrete barriers and begin modifying our existing ramp. I'll need to raise the current ramp significantly higher so we can completely clear the hopper feeder system. Once that's done, I'll move around to the opposite side and start building up another approach ramp, so both sides are sitting at roughly the same elevation. After the groundwork is complete, we'll place the bridge itself over top of the hopper feeder. The bridge is built from heavy logs and should be strong enough to support our loaded Volvo A60H rock trucks while still leaving enough space between the logs for the pay dirt to fall directly into the feeder below. Once the bridge is installed, the rail work begins. I'll need to spend quite a bit of time reshaping the terrain around both sides of the bridge. My goal is to make the approach as smooth as possible because the last thing I want is for our rock trucks to bottom out or get hung up every time they try to cross the bridge. I'll also need to pay close attention to how much room we have around the hopper feeder itself. The feeder has a surprisingly large collision area around it, and if I terraform too close to it, things can start behaving pretty strangely. So I'll probably have to take things slow and make a lot of small adjustments until everything is working properly. Once the bridge and ramps are completely finished, it'll be time to start rebuilding our AutoDrive system. Last episode, we spent a lot of time creating reversing routes that allowed our rock trucks to back up the ramp and unload into the hopper feeder. Since we're completely changing the way the trucks unload today, all of those routes will need to be removed and replaced. I'll start by deleting the old reversing courses, and then we'll create an entirely new route that takes the trucks from the excavator up onto the bridge, over top of the hopper feeder, and back out of the unloading area without ever needing to stop and reverse. If everything works the way I expect it to, this should make the unloading process much smoother and much faster. Once the new routes are created, we'll begin running some test loads with a single rock truck. I don't want to immediately throw all 3 trucks onto the new route, because if something isn't working correctly, it's going to be much easier to troubleshoot with just one truck running the course. I'll hop into the Cat 395 excavator and start loading the truck with pay dirt, and then we'll sit back and watch to see how the worker handles the new route. I'm especially interested in seeing how the truck approaches the bridge and whether or not it stops in the correct location to unload directly into the hopper feeder. If the first test run goes, well, we'll start increasing production and bring our other trucks back into the rotation. At that point, we should have all 3 Volvo A60H rock trucks cycling continuously between the excavator and the wash plant while Slucifer processes material as fast as we can feed it. One thing I'm really curious about is whether this new setup will allow us to add even more trucks in the future. Right now, 3 trucks seem to be working pretty well, but I still find myself waiting on empty trucks from time to time while I'm sitting in the excavator. If this new bridge system speeds up unloading enough, we may actually be able to support 4 or even 5 trucks running around a mine site. That will be a massive increase in production compared to where we started this series. Just a few episodes ago, I was doing everything myself, loading trucks, hauling pay dirt, feeding the wash plant, and processing gold. Now we're starting to reach a point where multiple workers are handling the hauling operation while I focus almost entirely on digging pay dirt and expanding the mine. Of course, the real test will be seeing how much gold we can actually produce with this new setup. If everything works the way I'm hoping it will, we should be able to push significantly more pay dirt through Slucifer than ever before. That should result in much larger cleanouts and much bigger gold payouts. We've got a lot of work ahead of us today, but if all goes according to plan, we could end up with the most efficient mining operation we've ever had here in the Yukon Valley. Let's get to work and see if we can make this new drive-over hopper system a success. If you're enjoying the Yukon Valley 16X gold mining series so far, make sure to like, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. Well, everything was going pretty smoothly for a while there, but we finally ran into our first major issue with the new bridge system. The good news is that the bridge itself actually worked exactly the way I hoped it would. The trucks were able to drive up onto the bridge, line themselves up over the hopper feeder, and everything looked like it was going to work perfectly. The bad news was that our AutoDrive workers absolutely refused to drive all the way across it. At first, I thought it might have been an issue with the route itself, so I spent a bit of time off-camera testing different path layouts and adjusting some of the AutoDrive settings. But no matter what I tried, the trucks would always stop in almost the exact same spot. After a bit more investigating, I finally figured out what was causing the problem. It turns out the hopper feeder system has an absolutely massive collision box around it. Even though the bridge looked like it was clearing the feeder just fine, the collision area was actually extending much higher than I expected. As the trucks approached the center of the bridge, they would detect that collision and stop because AutoDrive thought they were about to run into an obstacle. Once I realized what was happening, the solution became pretty obvious. I needed even more clearance. So I brought the terrain tools back out and spent some more time rebuilding the ramps. I've now raised the entire bridge significantly higher than it was before, and after making those changes, our workers are finally able to clear the collision box completely. The difference was immediate. As soon as I finished raising the bridge, the trucks were able to drive straight across, reach the unload trigger, and successfully dump their pay dirt directly into the hopper feeder system. That's exactly what I was hoping to see, and it looks like all of the extra work was definitely worth it. Honestly, this is exactly why I expected today's project to involve a bit of trial and error. Anytime you're trying to build something around a production building or piece of equipment like this, there always seems to be some hidden collision or unexpected issue that pops up. Thankfully, we managed to figure it out before spending too much time chasing other problems. Now that everything finally appears to be working the way it should, I think it's time to stop playing engineer and start playing miner again. I'm going to get all three of our Volvo A60H rock trucks configured on the new AutoDrive routes, and then we'll head back down into the hillside cut. Once the trucks are running their new routes, I'll hop into the Cat 395 excavator and start loading them up with pay dirt so we can really put this new system to the test. The biggest thing I'll be watching for is how efficiently the trucks move through the unloading process. The entire goal of this project was to eliminate the reversing and maneuvering that our workers had to do on the old ramp. In theory, the trucks should now be able to unload much faster and keep the hopper feeder supplied with a much more consistent flow of pay dirt. If everything works the way I'm hoping it will, we should be able to spend a lot more time digging pay dirt and a lot less time waiting on trucks. And ultimately, that means more material going through Slucifer, more gold concentrate being produced, and hopefully some much bigger cleanouts later on. For now though, let's get these trucks loaded up and see how this new drive over bridge performs under a full workload. The new drive-over ramp system actually seems to be working pretty well now. And for the most part, our rock trucks are moving through the unloading process exactly the way I hoped they would. They're able to drive up onto the bridge, unload directly into the hopper feeder, and continue on their way without having to stop and reverse. So from what I can tell, the ramp itself is no longer our biggest concern. Unfortunately, it looks like we've run into another issue, and this time the problem appears to be coming from the hopper feeder system itself. At first, everything seems to work normally when I fire the system up. The hopper feeder starts feeding material onto the belt. The radial stacker conveyor begins carrying the paid dirt over to Slucifer, and everything looks perfectly fine. But after running for a while, something strange starts happening. The belt continues spinning like normal, but the pay dirt stops moving off the conveyor and never makes it over to the radial stacker. The result is that material begins piling up on the belt, and eventually the entire system basically grinds to a halt, even though all of the equipment still appears to be running. I've spent a little bit of time trying to troubleshoot the problem myself, but so far I haven't had much luck figuring out exactly what's causing it. It could be a mechanical issue, it could be some sort of software problem with the feeder controls, or it could simply be that we're now feeding material into the system much faster than it was originally designed to handle. Whatever the cause is, it's definitely something we're going to have to investigate further, because there's not much point in speeding up our mining operation if the feeder system can't keep up with the amount of pay dirt we're delivering to it. This one might actually be a bit above my pay grade. I may have to make a call over to the local dealership and see if one of their service technicians can come out and take a look at the system. They got a lot more experience working on these feeder systems than I do, and hopefully they'll be able to point us in the right direction. The good news is that despite the issues, we've still managed to run quite a bit of pay dirt through Slucifer today, and because of that, we've built up a pretty healthy amount of gold concentrate inside of the sluice boxes. So before we shut everything down for the night, let's go take advantage of that. I'll open up the clean out on Slucifer and pull all of the gold concentrate out of the plant. Once we've got all of the buckets loaded up, we'll haul everything across the road to our gold cleaning room, so the processing equipment can begin working through it and turning it into gold. After that, I think we'll call it a day here at the Hillside Cut. It's getting pretty late. We've put in a full day's work, and I'd rather take the time to properly diagnose this feeder issue than try to rush through a fix in the dark. We'll head back over to the camper, advance time into the next morning, and hopefully by then we'll have a better idea of what's causing the problem. If we can get the hopper feeder system straightened out and running reliably again, we'll be able to fire everything back up and continue putting our new drive-over ramp system to work. After shutting everything down for the night, I got in touch with the local dealership and explained the issues we were having with our hopper feeder system. They sent a service technician out to the mine to take a look at it, and after spending quite a bit of time troubleshooting the machine, they unfortunately weren't able to pinpoint exactly what was causing the problem. Rather than leaving us completely shut down while they continue investigating the issue, the dealership offered us a temporary solution. They brought out a completely different hopper feeder system for us to test and see if it would work with our current setup. The replacement feeder is this Terex hopper feeder. It's definitely a bit smaller than the unit we were running before, and I was honestly a little skeptical at first about whether or not it would be able to keep up with the amount of material we're feeding into Slucifer. But after running a few test loads through it yesterday evening, it actually performed surprisingly well. We put a few rock truck loads of pay dirt through the system, tested it with our new drive-over ramp, and monitored the material flow all the way through the radial stacker and into the wash plant. Everything seemed to work exactly the way it should, and most importantly, we didn't run into any of the issues that were causing our original feeder to stop moving material. So for now, I think this Terex unit is going to become our temporary hopper feeder, while the dealership continues working on diagnosing and repairing our original system. If they can eventually get the old feeder fixed, we'll compare the two and decide which one works best for the mine moving forward. The good news is that it finally looks like we've got all of the major issues sorted out. Between the new drive-over ramp, the updated AutoDrive routes, and now the replacement hopper feeder, we should finally be in a position where we can focus entirely on mining instead of constantly stopping to troubleshoot equipment. And honestly, that's exactly what I've been looking forward to. It feels like the last couple of episodes have been one big engineering project after another. We've been building ramps, creating routes, adjusting worker settings, testing new systems, and solving problem after problem. While all of those upgrades have been necessary, I'm definitely ready to spend some time actually putting the equipment to work and seeing what this operation is capable of. So let's get everything fired back up and get the mine running once again. Well, for the first time in quite a while, it finally feels like everything is running exactly the way we hoped it would. After all of the troubleshooting, rebuilding, testing, and adjustments we've made over the last couple of episodes, the entire mining operation is now running incredibly smoothly, and the results are definitely starting to show. We've managed to move a huge amount of pay dirt in a relatively short amount of time today, and our fleet of Volvo A60H rock trucks has been doing an excellent job keeping material flowing to the wash plant. The new drive-over-ramp system seems to have been a complete success, and it's made a much bigger difference than I originally expected. Going into today's episode, one was actually starting to think we might need to purchase another rock truck or two. Last episode, there were quite a few moments where I found myself sitting in the Cat 395 excavator waiting for an empty truck to return so I could continue loading material. Now though, with the new bridge system eliminating all of the reversing and maneuvering around the hopper feeder, the trucks are cycling much faster than before. I've noticed a significant reduction in downtime while running the excavator. By the time I finish loading one truck, it doesn't seem to take very long before another empty truck is already pulling into position, ready for another load of pay dirt. That's exactly what I was hoping this upgrade would accomplish, and it really seems like we're finally getting the most out of our hauling fleet. Not only are the trucks spending less time unloading, but the entire operation just feels much more efficient. The trucks are moving smoothly through their routes. The hopper feeder is keeping up with the material being delivered, and Slucifer has been processing pay dirt almost non-stop throughout the day. And because of that, we've managed to produce an impressive amount of gold concentrate. In fact, we've now run so much material through Slucifer that our sluice boxes are nearly full once again. That's always a great problem to have, because it means all of the upgrades and improvements we've been making are translating directly into more gold production. So I think it's time to pause the mining operation for a few minutes and take care of another cleanout. I'll shut Slucifer down, open up the cleanout system, and pull all of the gold concentrate out of the sluice boxes. Once we've got everything collected, we'll load the buckets into the pickup truck and make another trip across the road to our gold processing room so we can get all of that concentrate cleaned and processed into gold. After we've dropped everything off at the processing room, we'll head right back over to the hillside cut and put the operation back to work. I like to spend a little more time mining today and take full advantage of how smoothly everything is running now that we've finally worked through all of the issues. Once we're satisfied with the amount of material we've processed, we'll shut the mine down for the day and shift our focus over to the gold processing area. By that point, we should have a nice collection of finished gold bars waiting for us, and we'll load everything up and make the trip into town to see just how much money we've managed to produce. We definitely had a rough start to the episode. Between the issues with the original hopper feeder, rebuilding the unloading system, and troubleshooting some of our equipment, we lost quite a bit of valuable mining time. But once we got everything sorted out, production really took off, and we've been making up for lost time ever since. So even with all of the setbacks, I still think there's a very good chance we're on pace for one of the biggest paydays we've ever had here at the Hillside Cut. Let's get this clean out finished up and see just how much gold we've managed to produce today. After all of the upgrades, troubleshooting, and testing we went through over the last couple of days, I'd say today's mining operation ended up being a huge success. We started the episode dealing with problems surrounding our hopper feeder system and trying to get our new drive-over ramp working correctly. But by the end of the day, everything finally came together. Our fleet of Volvo A60H rock trucks performed exactly the way I was hoping they would. The new drive-over bridge proved to be a massive improvement over the old reversing system. And once we got the replacement hopper feeder installed, we were finally able to keep a steady flow of paved dirt moving through Slucifer for hours at a time. The biggest thing I noticed was just how much more efficient the entire operation felt. The truck spent less time unloading. I spent less time waiting for empty trucks to return to the excavator, and overall we were able to move a lot more material through the wash plant than we've ever been able to before. And in the end, all of that extra production translated directly into more gold. After cleaning out Slucifer multiple times throughout the day and processing all of our gold concentrate, we loaded up every gold bar we produced and made the trip into town to cash everything in. By the time all of the sales were complete, we ended up bringing in over $1.5 million, making this one of the biggest paydays we've ever had here at the Hillside Cut. Next episode, we'll continue expanding our gold mining operation and put all of today's upgrades back to work as we look to push production even further. As always, thank you all so much for watching and supporting the series. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel.